Oh, hello, and welcome to Al Dente Rigamortis. I'm Review Cultist.
And I'm Matt from The Drunk and Ugly.
I'm Charlotte. I don't sometimes do podcasts.
You're doing that tabletop potluck, right?
I'm doing a podcast. It's not out yet, but when it comes out, check out Tabletop Potluck, guys.
I will leave a link in the description below.
There we go.
Whenever
now you have
that
to
comes
put it
out.
out.
Eventually.
Yeah, now it has to happen.
Yeah.
Oh god.
And we're here to discuss those internet stories, most creepy and most pasta. Except we're not doing written stories today. We're doing a bunch of creepy videos from the Little Fears YouTube channel.
Yeah, she's an old staple.
Yeah, and she basically is just like creepypastas as the video form.
Yeah, it was an interesting, just a lot of real short horror films.
Yes.
Like, between 1 and 3 minutes.
And this is good. This is my wheelhouse. I have a degree in film and video. I can talk about this.
Awesome. Because, yeah, I don't know the finer details, but I like when I have somebody on that does know their shit. So, all right, yeah. So we're doing for Little Fears. If you want to check it out on her YouTube channel, it's Urban Exploration, Curiosity, I Hate Snow, Corrupted Bootleg, and Collected Bootleg. I Hate Coke, and Psalms 77:6. And we're also probably going to touch on Worn Out, and what was the other one? Was it Fridge, right?
Yeah.
Fridge, yeah.
Yeah, Fridge. So they're all fairly short, like we said, so we'll probably...
I'm also not sure
through
if
them.
Worn Out and Fridge are her original stories, but I can't find them anywhere else, so they might be somewhere under another name.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, so I guess we'll talk about Urban Exploration first, since for the most part they were in alphabetical, like from our list, it was basically in chronological order from oldest to newest. So
Worn Out's one of the first videos on her channel, but we decided we were going to talk about that later, and it's different than the other kinds.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because the other ones, they're actually there's a video component, and it's more there is narration, but it's more of a video whereas Worn Out and Fridge are really just her reading stories with a very
Same with Curiosity,
static video
though, as well.
Curiosity is mostly her narrating, with one minor element at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
but
I mean, even Fridge was it really is just showing the fridge, and I thought there's a hand at halfway through the video, and I thought that was going to play anything, and it's
no, it's just someone there.
Background video.
Yeah, she just made her own B-roll of her kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and also one thing I'll say about the Little Fears. Normally, I'd start with a bio, but she's a fucking ghost.
Yeah,
I can't
we know
find...
she's Canadian, and
we know she's Canadian because she talks about going about the host.
Yeah, she's a nice Canadian girl.
Oh, does she have an accent?
Oh, yeah.
It's noticeable in some of her videos. Yeah,
whenever she says "out" or "about," anything like that,
okay,
she's
I'm exaggerating it a bit, but it's noticeable.
It's pretty there.
And I think you said you found out from one of her videos that she lives in Ontario.
Yeah, well, it was not even one that we're doing. It's the one that has the cheap jump scare.
That's Mount Pleasant.
Mount Pleasant, yeah, because Mount Pleasant's actually somewhere I've been, or at least one of them, because she mentions that there's multiple Mount Pleasants in Ontario. So and that's also a guess. Also, some of the places in her videos kind of look like they'd be in Ontario, based on where I've wandered around in car rides and stuff.
Sure. We can tell from her demeanor and from the content of her videos that she definitely lives in Canada, because I think she also has a whole video about this one specific bathroom in the Prime Minister's office.
Oh, I didn't see that.
It's like a narration. I can't remember what it's called. But it's just this. I think it's an interesting video. Go check out her channel. She's got a couple dozen videos maybe. She sadly
she's got 36.
Okay, so 3 dozen videos.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, she hasn't most of her videos are from 7 years ago, and then there's a handful of videos that are from 3 years ago.
And then she's disappeared off the face of the earth.
Yeah, and
maybe she'll come back next
Twitter.
year. Maybe she just posts a bunch of videos every 4 years.
Yeah. It's like that. It's like an urban legend itself. Like after every 4 years, the Little Fears appears again. Or it's like how they're doing like with It, like 20 years after the fact or whatever. It is now doing a remake, and then like same with Jeepers Creepers and Jigsaw.
She comes back to terrorize
ridiculous.
YouTubers.
Yes, to post another bizarre like video with a really good creepy zinger at the end, because that's definitely my take from her videos is that she has a really good delivery, especially right at the end, like to kind of give you that last chill.
Well, she's so good at subtlety too, and I feel like that's a lot of the time something that's missing in horror. You know?
Yeah.
But
like the aforementioned Mount Pleasant is really, I think, the only one that she had like a jump scare.
Mm-hmm.
The Round Hay Garden scene has a jump scare too. It's rare that they that's 2 of 36 of her videos though. So I think it's one of the other things that I was discussing this with you before the show is that generally her style seems to be sort of that sudden twist at the end, but really that's like it's just old school creepypasta.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really just classic, like, campfire story or creepypasta, like how the old ones used to be like.
And I mean, I guess that's fair, because, like, most of her content's from 7 years ago, that's not really the birth of creepypasta, but, like...
It was its heyday, for sure.
It was close. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I think creepypastas really started showing up around, like, 2007-ish, or, like, and maybe a little bit earlier. At least that was when Slender Man showed up to the scene.
Well, that's the...
and then
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No, you can go.
Sure, and that's the thing, Urban Exploration, that video was just like, this is a Slenderverse video. And that's, I loved it so much, because that was, back in the day, that was my jam. And I still really love making content like that. I still really love watching content like that. Like, there are still some Slenderverse YouTube stories that are still going to this day. People don't watch them as much anymore, but I still really like them, and that just gave such strong vibes off of that, and I was just like, that's what I love.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of the found footage series, like, ever since I caught a hold of, like, Blair Witch in college.
Yeah.
And basically just never went back. Like, it's like, basically my favorite horror genre now is found footage films, and Slender Vlogs were just an extension of that.
Well, and it works so well for a YouTube format, too, because... the found footage thing, it's always like, oh, well, okay, so the found footage is somehow a Hollywood movie now, but for YouTube, it's just like, yeah, these are just YouTube videos.
Yeah, and you're like, because they're on, like, something that's so easily accessed, it's like, is it real? Is it not? Like, what's going on? And then we have I recently found out that not all of them are see themselves as ARGs. They do have a commenter viewership kind of, like, contributing, or, like, kind of, like, I guess, like, the fan base, like, has, like, kind of an immersion level within their fan base, like, because they get to comment on, like, what on the video and stuff, and speculate and theorize.
Yeah.
Like, they have a little bit more, a little bit closer, like, proximity to their fans or the viewers.
Yeah, you have
Because
the
the
more
comments,
intimate
right?
relation, because it's just you.
Yeah.
You're the one who's making this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
You see a little bit of this on Little Fears too. Is with RE Corrupted Bootleg.
Yeah.
It's a commenter suggests ripping the video. So.
You're gonna have a hard time finding this now because she's disabled contents and all of her comments on all of her videos. I think Spiritual One was actually a comment she fabricated, because I remember going through the comment thread on Corrupted Bootleg and never being able to find that comment, and her videos have like thousands of views, but like that's not that many. And this is sort of a thing, is like it's also hard to pin anything down because she never interacted with her fans either. There's like lots of comments, she never responds.
Yeah. She's one of the ones that probably just like, she probably read them and then just didn't want to like get that close because wanted to stay
Anonymous.
Anonymous, yeah.
Yeah. And that's kind of the feeling you get, is she wanted to just be like a vessel to
tell the stories.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate. That's pretty cool.
And also maybe like, I don't know, the proto beginnings of like woman on the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Well, I mean, I've seen actually several Slender vlogs that have basically had to close down shop or go on hiatus permanently because they've had to deal with fans that took it too far, and at least according to stories and stuff I've heard, like they've shown up at their door, or like they've shown up while they're in their hometown, or like sent them death threats and somehow got a hold of their addresses and stuff.
Yeah.
Because like we brought it up in one of our episodes with 502, which is based out of Louisville, Kentucky. Like I could me and Mikey, the East Stands for Evil, was able to pinpoint every like major locations in the videos. Pretty well, like assuming they lived in those locations in the neighborhoods, we were able to basically find the streets of their neighborhoods based on their videos.
Sure, yeah.
And like,
if it's local, then you probably know what that place is.
Exactly. And there, I had a very similar thought process of I had an idea that I thought was great for starting a Slender vlog, and then I was like, maybe I don't want to put myself out on the internet like that. So it's definitely a real reality, and like I totally understand why someone would want to remain anonymous even when they're doing videos like this.
And so like the thing in urban exploration, like one of the two big things there is like, one, this is an abandoned house in the middle of nowhere, and two, there's like heavy distortion over the whole video.
Yeah, like the audio is like horribly, like, because it was basically what my guess was, it was like one of those digital cameras that could take video, so the audio is going to be really bad when wind shears and all that stuff.
Also just there's also heavy distortion on the video itself. Like there's a mild Gaussian blur on everything. I just kind of chalk that up to an older digital camera. No, it's not. I think that's intentional.
There's definitely some messing around with the footage and the audio for sure.
Yeah,
fair. Yeah.
And I guess I guess we haven't actually discussed what happens in this one.
Oh yeah.
yeah. We should do some rundowns at least, just like
this
or like
is
a quick
this
brief.
really the rundown of this one's really straightforward. That it's just the author. We'll call her Steve.
Stevette.
Yeah, Stevette. Or I don't know, Little Fears. I don't know. What do we want to call her?
Little Fears, that'll work.
All right, yeah. So Little Fears went and explored an abandoned house, and she says, "Oh yeah, we found this. I tripped over this digital camera in the basement." And she hammers a couple times saying, "I found this in the basement," and then it's like there was some footage on it. Here it is. And the thing you notice in the footage is that they're going upstairs, and they go into the attic, and that's where it ends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then she's like, "Oh, by the way, here..." And she also mentioned that she took a quick snapshot to make sure it was working, and that's how she found out that there was a video on it. At the beginning of when she mentions that she found the camera.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then she leaves off with...
I really scanned the video, the photo at the end when I first saw that, and I can't find anything in it. I think it's just supposed to hammer home, this ended in the attic, and now it's in the basement.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing that I thought was kind of brilliant about it, is that there is nothing in that photograph. It's just like build up, build up, build up, build up. It's just a photograph.
And this is sort of the other style of her work, is that, and another good way to do the campfire stories is that, this is like the alternate part of campfire stories is that if you don't do the twist, you just fucking leave it there.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's her other thing, is a couple of her stories just end with like, I'm bored with this.
Yeah.
And she just stops.
Exactly, yeah. That's actually kind of the way with Curiosity and, I want to say, it was the
Corrupted bootleg, that one just cuts off too.
Yeah, she's just like, I'm bored with this, because it just has and we'll get into that one in a second. Yeah, with urban exploration, it kind of hit home for me, because it was like, while I was on a trip, we discovered an abandoned church, and so me and my folks decided to take a photo, to like just go around and like take photos and stuff of it, because we're morbid like that. We like to take pictures of abandonment.
Sure.
Yep.
Whatever.
And so, taking pictures of this church and stuff that, and I went around and found that the door to the basement was open, was completely like gone. So I wasn't willing to go right in, but I was willing to put my camera in and just take a bunch of photos, like with the flash going.
Sure.
And even through like the window and stuff like that. And so when I got back into a computer and checked it out, I almost thought I'd seen something, but then it turned out just to be like like Christmas lights that had gotten the flashlight,
Nice.
but like at a quick glance, it was like, are those eyes? But yeah, no, there's nothing there. It was just a bunch of chairs like stacked up, and I think like a dishwasher, and then these Christmas lights in this like brick and mortar basement of a church.
Honestly, that's like the beginning of a creepypasta itself.
Yeah.
It's like I went and I just saw these, like, I thought it was eyes and it was Christmas lights, and then like every other time I had a photo taken and I saw something in the background and it's like, oh no, it's just gleam off a car windshield.
Yeah, so just like so you just keep thinking like
you just keep seeing something and it's like, and you're never sure if it's
just Christmas lights every time.
Yeah. Honestly, that's half the plot of an episode of How I Met Your Mother. I don't know if you remember that one, that Neil Patrick Harris's character, they have this thing where no matter what's happening, he always is perfectly photogenic, to the point where at the end of the episode they keep trying to mess up photos he's in, and at the end of the episode, like, they take a photo as he's sneezing, and he ends up in the same pose he's in every other photo.
Oh god!
Like, they take a picture of him like he's eating a chip, and somehow in the photo he's doing the pose, and like, where did the chip go?
See, that's terrifying in its own right. Like, that's a good, like, that would be a good thing for, like, there's something wrong with this person. It's like Tomei, like, or like, I guess
what's
the
Tomei?
Other spectrum of Tomei, where no matter what, however you so Tomei is by Junji Ito. It's this Japanese manga about a girl who drives people insane with her beauty, and she can't be killed. Even though you hack her up to bits, she just duplicates.
Sure.
But there are several stories in the mangas where taking a picture of her or even painting her, like, the artist will take a painting of her and then somehow the painting will look horribly monstrous. Like, there'll be like a secondary head on her head.
Huh.
Or like every time you take photographs of her, it shows this other person peeking out of her hair. And it's really actually just like another part of Tomei, because Tomei just basically splits and becomes another 2 Tomei, or 3 Tomei, or 4 Tomei, or 8 Tomei, or it just keeps going on and on.
Right.
It's, yeah. It kind of is like that, where it's just like, no matter how many pictures you take of this person, you're never going to get a normal picture because there's something innately wrong with them.
Mm-hmm.
Or supernaturally wrong
right.
with them. But that doesn't happen at all in urban exploration.
No.
We got a little off topic there.
I can't even remember how we got there, but yeah.
I think it was
the Christmas lights.
Yeah, it's the Christmas lights story. Yeah.
But yeah, like, I liked the whole idea of, like, it being an urban exploration, like, legit just a straight up urban exploration video. Mm-hmm. At first I thought that it was her in the video.
Yeah.
Like, at the beginning, but I think the whole video is just what she captured or what she took, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the whole.
Unless her walk to, like, her and her friend walking out to that place was like their footage, and then the footage of them going inside.
No, because it's the same. Else. It's the same kind of distortion, and it's the same people.
I was looking for the second time around. I watched it. I was kind of looking for if there was any sort of, like, obvious cut to something else, but I think it's all supposed to be the video that she found on the camera.
Yeah, and I mean, there's not really a real good reason to cut.
Yeah.
If she scouted the location, then they just walk in, because it's like, I mean, there are some very obvious cuts where they stopped and restarted.
Yeah.
But
they don't. Yeah, we don't see the full, like, walk to the house. Like, it stops and then they're going around the house, kind of thing.
So that would be very boring to see.
Yeah, that's one of. This is one of the nice things about the Little Fears, is there's, like, no dead weight. Mm-hmm. Everything is used.
Yeah. And that's another thing about Slender vlogs that I've seen that have failed. Like, they last maybe 3 or 4
so much
videos, and then they kind of peter out. It's a video of, like, some interesting, like, forest, or, like, some person's, like, some abandoned ranch nearby. But it's the full video of them, like, walking from their car to the place,
right.
And there's no, like, cuts or anything like that, or they try to speed it up and then add music to, like, add that. It's like, no, just cut out that chunk and just you don't have to use everything.
Open up Windows Movie Maker. Just fucking
it's just
everything in this on the show. Edit your stuff.
It's a very old school way of editing. You know, if you watch old movies, they like to show the person getting out of the car, walking up the stairs, opening the door. It's like, you don't need we can assume that they get to the door.
That's there's a lot of we're smarter than you think we are.
Yeah, it's like if it was Slender Vlogs too, or like with creepy web series vlogs. It's like if nothing happened from like car to door, you can just have yourself even get out of the car and then at the door.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like-
it's the number one rule of storytelling: just skip to the cool part.
Exactly. Yeah. Just trying to see if I have anything else to say for this one. Yeah. No. I did find like I really liked the fact that she narrates a lot of her videos, and like when she's like, because again, a lot of the time you see for introductions for like vlogs and stuff, it's just text that you have to read on a black screen. But for her, she actually like does narrate like what she was doing and like what her stories. And she uses sound really well in a lot of these videos.
Yeah, she's
like,
got
to,
some
like,
skill.
Build up, to build up atmosphere and to build up like the tension, and then to have nothing happen, and yet have you like expect it to happen. Like it's kind of irritating, but for her stuff, it kind of seems to work.
Yeah.
Because like it's like I was like you're like right at the bit, and then nothing happened. But you can like what if something did?
Yep.
So-
Well, and in some cases, it's like something did happen, and then she just kind of stops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The great thing
And
from a technical perspective as I was watching it is I really appreciated her command over the different elements of it. Like, she knows how to edit audio. She knows what she's doing with visual. And it's just like, yes, this is a person here who has spent time learning how to do these things correctly, and it really shows. And I appreciated that a lot, because there are a lot of YouTube videos out there where it's very obvious that this person has no idea what they're doing at all.
Yeah.
So it's just
Like, I have a camera, so I'm gonna make a Slender vlog and look at the ground while I'm walking the whole time.
That's good footage. It's good B-roll.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
It's a good vlog.
And then like the thing we were saying with the tension building up and then like nothing happening, that's basically curiosity in a nutshell. To segue to that, it's her narrating about how she keeps a tidy dresser, and so her clothes weren't coming in or weren't in the right spots. So she decided to put a camera in a box inconspicuously in front of it so that she would find out who did it. And because she thought it was just her sister, and then right at the end, as we're about to get something, you see like the dresser just open up from like off camera, and then she pauses the video and is like, "I don't think you want to see what happens next."
Yeah,
and then
And
she
then it's
cuts the
over.
video and it's like, "No, I do."
Yeah.
I do.
Well, I think it's not even. I don't think she just says you don't want to see what comes out of here.
Yeah, it's just like curiosity killed the cat
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And it's so good because it's the scariest monster is the one that you imagine.
Yeah, like again, like like a dozen like little things, like from like a critter style like creature to like just some like a hand with like in a plaid shirt was all I was kind of thinking. Like I just thought of so many different things in my mind, but we never get that. So it's
Just some
for
weird little
basically the
gremlin or
audience.
something.
Yeah,
I don't
and
know.
anything that would have been shown in reality would never have been as good as what we
Exactly,
had
yeah.
imagined. So, yeah. This one had the only one that is like a pet peeve for me when it comes to writing style. And this was, I wasn't sure. I was thinking, like, I don't know if she had written this originally or if it was, an older creepypasta, but the kind of modifiers, like, I'm a fairly organized person. I've always considered myself a bit curious. It's like, you can just say, I've always considered myself curious. I'm an organized person. Like, those qualifying words just don't really help enhance the story at all. And this is, like, a really, really, really small pet peeve. I realize this, but that was just but it's also, like, the only thing in all of the videos that we watched that really kind of bothered me, so...
Her writing style involves a lot of very purple prose.
Yeah.
But she can usually deliver on it. The only one, honestly, like, going back through it, I remember liking Worn Out, but, like, that's... The way that one's written, I find myself liking it less. I like the concept of it, but we'll get to that when we get to that. But that's another thing you're going to notice throughout, is with the stories that she wrote herself, you could pick up a very distinctive style that has she uses a lot of big words. She's got a lot of $5 and $10 words in there. She really referenced the thesaurus, went through this a couple times and added in a few more things to be more descriptive than possibly she needed to be.
For the most part, that's fine. You know, they're all still good videos, but
yeah, it's just like
sometimes.
it's just one of these things where you get into like old H.P. Lovecraft stories,
Yeah.
and he's like describing like the
Gibbous moon.
yeah, or like
Or
the terrifying cyclopean window shutters.
yeah.
Or the antediluvian beast came out of the Stygian well, and just like, okay, buddy.
Yeah, and it's one of these
Put
things
down
where
the
like
thesaurus.
it's one of these things where like I can listen to somebody read H.P. Lovecraft. I cannot read H.P. Lovecraft myself because it's too
Kind of with you. Like,
Yeah.
I'm a huge Lovecraft fan, as has been relevant from the get go. But I've read his stuff, and it took some doing to read through his stuff.
yeah, it's real thick.
Yeah, and it's really dry sometimes too, because
Yeah.
or just like you do not need to have like that. Like you're I don't know if it's because you're from the early 20th century, or if it's just that you're
I think
you
that's just how he
yourself are from the
wrote.
19th century. Yeah, or if you yourself are actually just from the 19th century in the 20th century.
Like honestly, I
like,
think that's how he
he's-
wrote. Like I've read the old Sherlock Holmes stories, and they're not as
Yeah.
No.
As far as I
Oh,
understand,
yeah.
and this might be apocryphal, I think the reason that Lovecraft included like 7 adjectives per noun is because he was paid by the word.
Yeah, that's a lot of pulp writers I hear were basically paid by the word, so
I could
And that's the
believe
thing.
that.
they would do that.
That's the thing. Like,
but-
Arthur Conan Doyle didn't do that because he was paid in a different way, and he wrote like 9,000 books.
Yeah. But yeah, so I guess do you guys have anything else to say about Consequence, or
Curiosity.
or sorry, Curiosity?
I don't have
Consequence.
anything else to say about it now. It does.
It's a very straightforward video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
And
the
it's like
choice
the shorter one too.
to frame it as a VHS tape, which is
Yeah.
even back in the day, like when,
2010. So I mean, yeah. Okay, frame it as a VHS. So the thing is, I was looking at it more as like a capture off of a video camera, and even
Yeah.
then, you had digital. You had digital tapes, but they
Yeah.
were still tapes.
Yeah.
So I could see that. I could see that she had a video camera there, and we were just seeing what came off
was
of her capture
captured from
card.
it. Mhm.
Actually, that makes actually sense, because like as of like 2012, even Marble Hornets was still like showing Jay going into a store
Getting
and
tapes.
like buying
Yeah.
like high 8 tapes. So,
Buying all these, and it's like you don't really, and it even says high 8 when it starts playing, and that's one of the things. Is like, I think in 2012, like Jay could have he's using body cameras, like he's wearing a
Yeah.
GoPro.
He's got SD cards now, or memory cards of some
Ditch the
kind.
tapes, man.
Yeah,
But the tapes are so visceral. So
yeah.
And that's actually a thing I do like about her stuff, is that she uses like the older style of video camera, and again, it might just be because she was like what she had at the time, but it kind of gives you like a nostalgia creepiness, because it's like the anachronism of like, because like nowadays, like we don't, like it's all digital, but you can do so much more with distortion and like weird creepy things with the analog format.
yeah.
I think people have found a lot of ways to make digital distortion creepy now too, with like data moshing and stuff like that. But it's a different style.
Yeah. All right. So we'll go on to I Hate Snow, which is probably one of my favorites.
Me too.
Yeah, this is another one that's very easy to summarize.
Yeah.
I think you wrote it.
basically
I think you wrote it in a single
I
sentence
did.
to me on Skype.
Girl goes for a walk with her dog in the middle of the winter. Apparently doing some B-roll as well, because she has a camera with her. And then on the return trip, she looks over to her walkway that goes up to her front of her house, and there's like slush or snow or something like that. But that's not the thing. The thing is that there are bare human footprints going up the drive and up the footwalk to the front door, and the front door seems to be open, I think.
Yeah.
And she's like obviously creeped out and keeping the dog, and then she goes toward the front door to investigate, and then the video
Yeah,
stops.
because cuts out right there.
And as soon as it was over, I was like, fuck.
Yeah. This is the thing that I mean when I say she's very good at subtlety. Like, it's just the camera pans over and you see bare footprints in the snow, and you're like, what the fuck?
They're walking into my house.
Yeah.
And that's like, it's on a real level, because it's literally like the fear and threat of breaking and entering.
Yeah.
And that's a very real anxiety thought, too, of just like, I could imagine being on a walk with my dog in the wintertime and thinking, what if someone came up to my house like this? Like,
and then on top of that, it's not even boot prints. It's bare feet.
Bare feet. It's like, who's out here in bare... Like, okay, another thing...
bless the poor soul who she got to do that for her, too.
Yeah. I mean, they could have done it really quickly. As somebody who's done it out, who's gone barefoot in the snow in the dead of winter.
Canada.
Personally, personally though, we've actually another thing that kind of like made this one more personal for me was the fact that we've had a couple of crazies escape a penitentiary from nearby.
Oh no!
And wander into our neighborhoods.
Oh
no! And like our neighbor's house was broken into by one, and the neighbors around them were like, there's somebody in your house, like they're on vacation for the weekend. Okay, good. All right, call the cops. We'll just keep an eye out, monitor him until he But yeah, he basically wandered into my neighbor's house.
Damn.
And we were away at the time too, but we all heard this from our neighbors, and it was just like, oh god,
that's terrifying.
Or driving home one night and coming into the neighborhood, and there's like not only police all over the place near the park, but also a military group. And apparently they were they were doing a man search. Or
wow.
A manhunt. Yeah. So yeah, this story had that like kind of like again for me personally, it had that like, oh god, I can relate to that a little bit.
Yeah, that's a little extra weight there for sure.
Yeah, so I did appreciate that. Also, why do you have your camera while you're walking your dog? Aside from, I guess, just taking B-roll. For a project?
That's the interesting thing, because I Hate Coke also frames it as, like, this is me as a real person, the Little Fears who runs this YouTube channel, so I looked at I Hate Snow like that as well, just like, this is just Little Fears as this person who is collecting B-roll for maybe another project she's working on and has a camera with her.
And then she gets home and, oh shoot, somebody I'm in one of my videos now.
Yes.
For reals. I also did actually really like the weird music, and I say that with a question mark, because
it's just like ambient sound. Well, it's not even ambient sound. Yeah, it's just ambient glitch.
Yeah.
It's glitchy, dissonant, but it's trying to be like uplifting almost.
It's
like,
upbeat.
I call it music.
Upbeat. Yeah, and then but it's also slightly unnerving because it's kind of upbeat and getting really quick, right up until the scene where she sees that there are footprints.
Yeah, and then you can hear like the background noise and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, like I liked that because it really does like charge the video with like some tension building, and then when you drop that dissonant noise, and it's just quiet, and it's just her reacting to that, like that's a perfect like delivery.
Got a good energy for sure.
But yeah. And I had something else, but I'll keep that until we get to the video that's connected to it. So I guess now is corrupted bootleg and corrupted bootleg, since they're basically extensions of themselves.
They're part of this. This is the only two-parter she has. So corrupted bootleg is again another very straight video. She's got a DVD of Last House on the Left, I think, and she just. It's just video of her opening it up, putting it into her DVD player, and then she films her TV, which is just showing just garbage. It's just red, green lines just kind of scanning really fast. And you hear some like old woman's voice maybe saying something.
I either thought it was chanting of some kind, like in like a Latino or something like that, because it sounded like something I'd hear in like Paranormal Activity.
It's got a very. It sounds kind of Latin, but I don't know enough of it to understand it.
Yeah, my other suggestion was that maybe it was for some reason done backwards, like just speaking backwards.
That's also a Well, so the thing about that is that it doesn't sound like backmasking. Because you still hear all the plosives in the right places. Like if
that's true. Yeah.
Like you don't get that sort of like this is the arm, sort of like Having watched a lot of Twin Peaks, I know what backwards talking sounds like.
Fair enough. So it could be like either just like some woman chanting for some like something.
It also
that we just
sounds
can't
kind of
understand 'cause it's not-
distressed.
Yeah.
Like it's got this. It sounds like somebody somebody saying something with a lot of motion, and then it turns into yelling before it kind of fades off into static.
Yeah.
static
It
and
might
then
also
like
be
a-
possible that it's just gibberish too.
It's also
that's
entirely
true,
possible that it's nothing. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
And I can't
exactly.
find anything
It's-
about this because, again, like, this is not a big YouTube channel. Like, I can't even... There might be something on Unfiction, I think is what Charlotte was saying, but, like, we don't know. Like, I can't find... I can't do a Google search for this and figure out what it is.
Yeah, I'm surprised, like, because it seems like one of the more popular, like, whenever somebody, like, occasionally I'll see a commenter in, like, a creepypasta we're doing on the show talk about the Little Fears and, like, have a link to, like, one of her readings. So it seems like she was fairly popular, and like, but her TV tropes, like even her TV tropes entry is really small.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
it's like 2 sentences of description and then nothing else.
Because nobody knows anything about her.
and it's always the same thing. It's her own description for herself. She's like a Canadian who has a soothing voice.
Yeah.
We know 2 things about her. That's it. Otherwise, she's a ghost.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so with this one, and then
so this one feeds into Recorrupted Bootleg, which starts with a commenter, maybe real, maybe fake. I'm pretty sure it's a fake comment, but anyway, in the canon of it's real. That they're saying like, hey, can you post the rip of that to YouTube? And she says, okay, and starts talking about the rip, and the video wasn't there, but she's able to get the audio, so she plays that, and then it's like, all right, and there's nothing but static, except for like these whistling sounds in here, and you see it in waveform view, and she's like, but I was first listed as in spectral view, which reveals a new thing, and like, you just see that the whistling sounds, it just says thirsty in all caps.
Yeah.
And that like, and then she says, I'm bored with this, and it's done. And it's like, that's the part that creeps me out the most, because you don't know why it's there, but it's very obviously intentional, and it's like, and it's sort of, it's like, it's a modestly distressing word.
Yep.
Yeah. Like, it's the tease. It's like, and here's something really creepy, and then we're done.
The end. Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
Wait, no,
yeah.
Like, it's the start of a good, like, to me, like, this would be like the Corrupted Bootleg in the second one would be a good, like seed or start for a vlog series investigating what the heck this is all about.
Yes.
Or a story, or even a game scenario. Like, also,
I mean,
like
it's honestly, honestly, you could just do Artifact Zero with this.
Yeah. Oh,
A little, yeah.
Jesus.
Has any of us here actually seen Last House on the Left?
No.
I haven't, so
I haven't
I don't know
either.
if there's some sort of...
I know
It was
the premise
symbolism in
of
there.
that one. It's not
Isn't
very
it-
nice, but I know the premise.
What is the premise, actually? I don't remember. It's been a very long time since that movie came out.
Okay, now as far as I know, now that I'm trying to recall it myself, it's a girl goes to the Last House on the Left, and she gets stuck in this house by the crazies that are there. As I Google up Last House on the Left.
Yeah, I remember it being sort of a generic slasher film.
I think it's one of those like revenge exploitation horror films. Yeah, after kidnapping and brutally assaulting 2 young women, a gang unknowingly finds refuge at a vacation home belonging to the parents of one of the victims.
That's a great premise. It's probably a horrible movie.
It's actually there was 2 of them, because the one that's the DVD is the most recent one, the 2009 one. But I remember there was a 1972 version that was the original American exploitation horror movie.
Wasn't that also the same thing with The Hills Have Eyes?
Yep, and every other movie recently.
Yeah.
I'm trying to.
We need the Little Fears of the world to keep on making this original content.
Yeah. I mean, we had Don't Breathe and Get Out this year, which those were. Actually, Don't Breathe was last year, I think, technically.
Yeah.
It Follows was last
this year.
was really good.
It Follows, yeah.
I think I've talked about It Follows on every single podcast.
I need to actually watch that movie. I've heard it's good.
But anyway, back to Corrupted Bootleg. So I guess the DVD that she got was basically just like it has like a video, like a solid video file on it or something, and that's what was playing.
Well, she did a rip, and she took she was just playing the, because if you rip stuff off a DVD, you get these like proprietary DVD formats, I think, that you can convert into normal like codecs.
Okay. For me, just because like it was a corrupted like DVD or it was like this weird thing. Like usually, if my DVD player can't read that, it just kind of spits it out. So I wasn't sure if this
I guess
is something...
that's the thing. Yeah, so there was, because that's the other thing. When she puts in the corrupted bootleg in the original one, it doesn't go to a menu. It just all she gets is
just this.
Yeah.
So I guess
obviously
so it's, just like
some sort of supernaturally corrupted bootleg. So
yeah.
Doesn't need to
it's just
follow
like a
the
straight
laws
video
of
format.
DVDs.
Yeah, or it's just got audio on it, and the video is just garbage, and it doesn't know how to read that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
and then we get the creepy thirsty thing, and then it's over.
And it's so good because she builds up to it, and then it's just like it's a really subtle. I mean, it's not subtle payoff, but it's like it's a very low key payoff.
Yeah, it's just
And
that's unsettling.
Yeah, and I love her like delivery. It's like, I'm bored with this.
Yeah,
click. I was like,
yeah. No, come back.
I like her attitude toward these things. Like,
she's just very casual.
Yeah, she's so nonplussed about all of these strange occurrences.
It's like I live in a weird part of Canada.
Yep.
This is nothing to me.
Yeah, and the thirsty thing too is another great example of her having a lot of command over audio design. It's like
Now, as far as I know, I know there's programs that will make audio files out of just taking like a photo and turning it into spectral view. Mm-hmm. So that part's a little less creepy to me. I did some reading into that after finding out about Aphex Twin's equation.
Mm-hmm.
And so the actual way that she built that wouldn't have been. I think honestly, I don't know how she made the static, because that's like sort of a brown noise loop with some other stuff going in it, because it's too crunchy to be brown noise. But obviously she made some kind of looping static thing and then merged that in there in the actual making of it. But yeah, it was very, very well created.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And I remember when I first found out about that was actually what made me know that there was a spectral view in Audacity. Because I remember I when I played that video back, I'm like, no way. And so I recorded the stereo output from like my computer in Audacity, and then I flipped into spectral view and yep, there's thirsty.
Oh wow,
it's real.
I'm gonna have to play with that sometime, because I did not know Audacity had that.
Yeah, that's how I do noise reduction. Because if you flip into spectral view, you get a real good. You can actually see where the noise is.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
And then I guess, speaking of thirsty, I hate Coke.
Now she mentions in here that she was working on. She mentions I was working on this new video and trying to get all the town pronunciations right and all that kind of stuff. And I thought she was talking about the German medic, but that
was she talking about. I think she might town. She was trying to get the town pronunciations. It would either probably be that one or maybe
German medic comes up before this, so I don't think it's that one.
Was it the maybe the one with the burial on Box Hill? Because that one has a lot of names and stuff like that as well.
Possible.
A lot of,
let me
places.
Let me see if I can.
It's also possible she may have just held off on releasing "I Hate Coke" until after.
Yeah. Well, the next one she had was Mount Pleasant, but I don't think she mentions any other places other than Mount Pleasant in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's also possible. Yeah, it was on a delayed cycle, or it was just sort of. She wasn't actually working on anything, but it was just this sort of slice of life kind of story. That
was kind of creepy in its own right. So. Yeah, I Hate Coke is basically, she's doing her project and she's thirsty, so she goes to get a Coke from her cellar. So she gets a Coke out of the box, puts it into a glass full of ice, and then notices that out of the can, there's some weird legs kind of coming out of it, and so she pulls them out, or it plops into the glass as well, and it's a very large centipede that was just dead and in the can of Coke. So she then puts it out and checks it. It's like, Yep. And like she keeps like swapping between like the Coke bottle, the Coke glass, the can, and then this thing is like, yep, thanks.
Yeah, that's the ending of that is my favorite because it's just yep, and then it just ends. I think there's also it flashes up a frame of Coke and Joy.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then in her description, it's like Pepsi is still for suckers or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first time I watched that, I was like, definitely don't want to drink a soda right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or anytime soon.
And I mean, yeah, I don't. So my problem with that though is this, or I mean, obviously it's something that happened, but like, doesn't Coke dissolve like nails if they're in there too long?
Some stuff. I mean, you could do some experimentation with Coke and how it affects chitin. I know it will tenderize steak. Because it is mildly acidic.
Yeah, well, carbon dioxide is acidic, so
yeah, and so it'll also like remove rust from nails and stuff like that. Allegedly,
yeah, like I know MythBusters did like a whole thing. about
they did a whole Coke episode or something.
But then again, like so I think I remember hearing, and again, this might have been from that same MythBusters thing, but like. Didn't somebody try to preserve their body in Coke? So maybe that's...
I don't remember that one, but it's possible.
I can't...
I feel like that wouldn't work at all.
But yeah...
I know, I think that's what they were maybe trying to prove or something. I don't know.
Yeah, because they poured... That was one of the things, was they tried to use Coke to tenderize steak, and they found, like, oh yeah, if you leave steak in here for a long time, it gets real messed up.
Yeah. Weird, a base or acid. What it does to organic material. But yeah, like that was really my only kind of note about like other than like for like just like picking at it was that aspect, and then the other thing was just like how kind of slightly morbid humor she had to the whole situation. Like, hey Coke, yeah, this happened in from your products. So thanks.
Yep.
I will not be touching Coke anytime soon.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like finding like a bug or something in like a fruit you bought off the grocery store.
Yep.
Always a pleasant surprise.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, most places, factories like that are regulated. There's like a threshold for bugs that are acceptable to be in products because it's impossible for the threshold to be 0 bugs. Like, bugs are going to get in things. So it's like, I wonder what the acceptable number of it's okay that these bugs are in our Coke products.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. You swallow 7 spiders every year or something.
Or something.
Yeah.
And
I mean, the other thing I had was like, well, maybe maybe when she pulled it out of the cellar, because it was it looked like kind of you do kind of see like her little journey to the cellar and stuff like that. And I've had like where we have a cellar where like when we were kids. My folks would tell us to like not drink directly from the can because who knows what's been on that, like it could have been like rat poop or whatever, like that kind of thing, or clean it before you drink from it or something like that. So I was thinking like, well, maybe maybe it's not entirely Coke's fault. Maybe it was just like on there or something.
A little centipede that was down there.
Yeah, that's also possible.
But but the way it was described in the video, it was inside of the can.
The can,
so.
Well, this is another thing. Do you guys think the video is real or fake?
I honestly...
I don't know where she got a centipede.
I mean, we get centipedes in this apartment, like...
We get centipede, in Canada.
Not that hard to get a centipede.
So I guess, in that case, if it's a fake video, which was the inspiration here? Which is the chicken and egg? Did she find a centipede in her apartment and decide, I can make a video about this?
Yeah, actually, just to give you guys a little bit of insight, when we have winter, the insects start coming inside.
Yeah,
so,
same here.
We have we have our room, like our basement sealed, but like we still find like spiders and all manner, and I think we've even seen like centipedes on occasion, like in the dark, somewhere that it's dark and hasn't been touched or looked at in a while. So. I mean, it's possible.
Yeah, it can go either way. The way that this is presented, and given the rest of her channel, like I would imagine this is fabricated.
Yeah,
but it seems like the most something could happen.
Yeah,
yeah. Like the next one was actually the one close, like one more, like where it's like, what is this real or is this doctored? Was the one that she basically just used live footage from like a news channel in California.
I think
about
you
Garlic
can find.
Road.
Yeah, I think you can find the Garlic Road video like elsewhere.
Yeah, and like the guy just mentions like, oh, and well, I mean, we got it installed because we want to get rid of vampires, and like it's been 12 years and we haven't had any vampires in town.
Yeah,
and then her like ending thing is like, naturally. I just like, yeah, and again, like her humor is very like,
very dry.
Ben Stein. Yeah, very dry, very kind of like almost like Ben Stein or like that kind of, yeah, just no emotion to it at all, just kind of like matter of factly.
Mm-hmm.
And then anything else before we move on to the last of the video ones? Okay, so yeah, we have Psalms 776, which.
What is that?
Really
did you actually look up that verse? I don't know.
The verse is in the description of the video too. She put just.
Okay, I couldn't remember.
I don't remember what it is, but it's in the video.
I'm pulling it up right now.
Okay, good. Because otherwise I was going to have to.
Yeah. Damn it. Where's Psalms? There it is. Yeah, it's 39 seconds long, and it really just her waking up, grabbing the camera, and hearing somebody in her house praying. And the Psalms is, I remembered my songs in the night, my heart mused, and my spirit inquired.
Right, yeah, because as she's going downstairs, you can just barely hear a child singing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then as she turns on the light, she sees her dog sleeping there, like on the rug, and then she looks over to the
front door,
the mud,
I think.
Yeah, the front door, the mudroom area, where all the shoes are, and there's nothing there, and then it just ends.
I couldn't tell if it was just nothing there, or if the door was open.
I don't. Hang on, I got the video here right now, so I'm gonna just. It looks like okay, it doesn't actually show the door because the door's open to the walk-in area, but it just shows like it's one of those ones where it's like the door's like off on the wall that you can't see. So
yeah, so I guess it's not clear.
Yeah, my headcanon for this story is actually tied to I Hate Snow. Is that this is a sequel to I Hate Snow?
Yeah, that was my thought watching the video as well.
Yeah, and it kind of like ties into like that and this one would be a really good starting point for like a creepy vlog series where like something is in your home or like something is something supernatural or something.
Yeah, some creepy ghost kid.
Home. Yeah, exactly. Like Alma from like Fear or something is just walked into your house and just like never left. And yeah, again, just like another on point kind of story. This one's like really short, so. It's really just her hearing the noise, walking downstairs. It's something like believable. Like, yeah, it's definitely one of those like supernatural.
Yeah, no, that's just literally this is the thing that has happened to me. When I was in middle school, I had one of my friends over, and we were staying up late into the night, like you do. Yep. And below my room is the living room where we had a grand piano.
Oh God!
And we heard a couple of keys played, and so we went downstairs to check it. And honestly, I thought it was one of the cats, but then when we went, like the actual keyboard was closed.
Ugh. Yeah.
And I think to this day we don't got a story like that.
To this day, we don't know what it was or how or why.
Yeah, it's one of those like simple but like really effective like kind of hauntings, or like what your mind would maybe think of that straight away, like oh shit, my house is haunted.
And it was one of these weird things where both my friend and I heard it.
Yeah.
It wasn't a hallucination; it was real. But
yeah, you guys weren't seeing things, or you weren't hearing things because both of you guys were hearing something.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, like it's simple but effective. Like even as like that story there, like it still gives me goosebumps.
The other part of this that's interesting is that she cuts on her camera and like runs really fast, which is, I know part of it is like, oh, it's a found footage thing, but the other part of it is like this reaction she has is like, this is like, I've heard this a bunch of times. This time I'm going to get it.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Yeah, I guess I didn't really kind of clue to that. But yeah. Because
the way that she reacts to it is like she's experienced this before. This isn't new.
That kind of reminds me actually of there's it's a Slender Vlog series, but it's half of it's only half a Slender Vlog series because it's actually deals more with the creature, the Rake. And it's called Whispered Faith.
Yes.
And it's basically this dude hears voices in his walls and his attic, like on a nightly basis.
Ooh.
And he starts recording it. And then there's literally a scene where he like goes down to his like kitchen and like fumbles in the dark, and then like thinks he hears something like just down the like away, like just on the other side of the kitchen. So he's hiding behind the counter, puts the camera beside him and the like the edge of the counter, and you see a guy in a morph suit, like rake suit, like creepily like spider walking along the wall, along the ground, and it's just nightmarish.
Yeah,
I love that.
That sounds real. That sounds real
It's
nasty.
spooky.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, when they do them right, they do them really, like, they are addictive to watch, because you're just always like, what's going to happen next?
Yeah. Well, the thing that's interesting about this video, too, is that most of it, or maybe half of it's just in the dark while she's moving, and then before she turns on the light, it's like, you cannot see anything. It's just...
You know that there's movement, because you're hearing stuff, and you're kind of seeing, like, the occasional little dot of light. But yeah, otherwise it's pitch black, because she doesn't have a light or night vision on the camera.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's just a basic hand cam.
Also, can we talk about how lovely that dog is?
Yeah.
Such a good
like
dog.
The black and white, I think a shepherd dog or sheep dog. Yeah.
And that's the other continuing thread, is that we have dogs in both of those videos.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's the same person. Yeah, it's just... Apparently the dog isn't too nonplussed by anything.
Yeah, no.
But... And again, because it's kind of short, like, it's short, it's really effective, but there's not a whole lot else to really talk about.
It's short and
God,
sweet.
that reminds me, me also, just talking about the dog not being nonplussed. This is an episode of the Criminal Podcast about this like old woman who, she kept like hearing sounds in her attic, and then when she left and like came back home, like she noticed that food was missing from her fridge at times. And she couldn't really put a thing on it until, like, I can't remember what caused her to call the police, but I think she just found her, like, front door was open one day, and she called the police and, like, didn't go back home, and they found that there was, like, a cot and some books and something in her attic. They could never find a guy. But it's one of these things where, like, she thought she was safe from intruders because she had a dog, and it's like, well, she got I think the dog just thought that this guy lived there.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Yeah, so, like, yeah, it's like...
I don't like that. That's spooky.
I have two dogs myself, and, like, yeah, I would never think that they would be... They would never, like, dissuade somebody, or they would never be, like guard dogs.
But the thing was that the dog was in her house when this guy would have been leaving and coming, and the dog didn't bark at the guy.
Okay, that's kind of weird, yeah, because dogs...
And that's one of the things is like... And that's one of the things is that it's like, the dog... This guy might have been here before the dog was here, and the dog just assumed that he lived here or something.
Yeah. Oh, like he smelled the whole house on this guy.
Yeah.
Basically, it's like this... It basically blended in like natural camouflage.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, my old owner leaves, and then the new owner comes in.
Yeah.
This is this other person who's supposed to be here.
Yeah. Oh God, that's terrifying.
Yeah, there was a Tumblr post way back when that was like that, where this person like found a trap door in their house. It's just like a little room with things in it. It's just like, oh, no thanks. I'm not about that life.
That's kind of going into pen pal levels
Yeah.
at the very end.
Yeah, kind of.
Or yeah. Oh. God, yeah. I could. We have my. A lot of these ones like tend to remind me of stories I've heard from like my mom's old house. Her and her family lived in an old house. It had basically had 6 families prior to them living in it.
Wow.
And yeah, and the creepy thing about that is it's six families in 6 years.
Huh.
That's not suspicious at all.
And then my grandparents and my uncles and aunt and my mom moved in, and they stayed for like 30 or 40 years before my grandmother eventually like moved out. But yeah, no, her one story that always gets me, because that place was haunted, was the fact that like there was her brother's room. the door would the lights would go on, off, and on, and the doors would all like close and open, so like they'd all be open like when you weren't looking, and then they'd stay open even if you tried to close them. They'd open up again. And the one day she was like going off to go to a friend's place, and she wanted to make sure all the doors were closed and stuff, and make sure all the lights were off. So she tried to close that door, and it just wasn't closing at all. Like it was like wide open, and she couldn't pull it from the wall.
What?
And she's like, and she at this point, like she's kind of like, she thought there was something like a ghost or something, or it was haunted, but she like didn't think it was anything like negative. So she's like, fine, like leave it open. I don't give a crap. I'm going off to see some friends. Just I don't care. Do whatever. And then she started walking down the stairs, and then slam.
Oh. And
she ran down the stairs, was gone. Didn't even lock the door for the house.
Wow.
And then like a couple of hours later, she got her aunt to come with her back to the house. All the lights were on. She went inside. Nothing was taken. Nobody was in the house at all. It's just all the lights were on and all the doors were closed.
Oh, that is really spooky.
Wow.
Yeah, I've never liked sleeping in that place. This
good
was before,
reason.
and that was before I heard that story.
Jeez.
So yeah. But yeah, it's that kind of like feeling for like that these videos kind of were giving.
Yeah,
Was like the.
It's the very type of real life, like, I feel like all these videos are definitely like, this could be a story that someone tells to someone else, like, oh, this happened to me the other day, isn't that weird? And it's just pretty much real life, and that's what's the scariest about it.
It's kind of like how the old creepypastas used to be, or like even just like the ones that you see on Tumblr. Like I think Matt, you've sent me a bunch of links for like Tumblrs that are like
I think
Tumblr
it's mostly from
links
Sixpence, honestly.
Yeah, Sixpence. Those are the guys. Yeah, Sixpence that like have just like short, like kind of. Sometimes they're real world creepy stories, and they're just like short, but they're like disappearances or like little hauntings and stuff like that, with the twist ending at the end. Mm-hmm. And like that's kind of what these stories these videos seem to invoke. So
very
I really appreciate
feeling,
that. Yeah. So I guess we'll go on to Worn Out and Fridge. Though I just like watched them like about a half hour before we started. So do you guys have a little bit more about that one?
Yeah, to me, they seem the most kind of creepy pasta-ish.
Yeah, they're just story narrations.
Yeah, with a B-roll behind them.
Yeah, and she has like videos that aren't part of her like video projects that she does.
Yeah, she does actual
readings.
creepypasta readings. Sometimes, honestly, like I think she does a reading of Candle Cove, which is I think probably her worst video, because that's a story that first off is meant to be read. Mm-hmm. The format doesn't work if you try to read it, and also she keeps calling the main antagonist of Candle Cove the Skin Talker.
Oh. I don't think that's a Canadian thing. Like,
she just misread it.
It's just okay. I know Where the Bad Kids Go was like one of the I think the video we suggest, or like the reading we suggest on our version on our episode of that one.
It's really good, and it's got the sounds.
Yeah. Oh, the ending, Again, like she's great with like the zingers at the ends and like the compiling the audio so that it works in tandem with the narration and the just the pacing of the video as it goes. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and also there's some real neat like B-roll of ferrofluid in that.
Yeah. Yeah, the ferrofluid, the spiky. Does it spike when there's like
when there's it follows magnetic field lines?
Gotcha. Yeah. So I guess is there anything else you guys want to say about the Little Fears channel other than I think we all kind of recommend it?
Yeah, go watch it if you haven't seen it and if you like scary things.
Yeah, she might update again sometime.
I hope so. I mean, I really enjoy this creative person's work, and I want to see more of it in the world.
Yeah.
So hopefully,
perhaps the cycle will renew, and the harvest
she will
come
return
again.
once more.
Yeah.
As the prophecy foretold.
Yeah. Now that the quieting has begun with like Slender Vlogs, we need more creepy videos.
We need spooky things.
The rise of overused remakes and redones. Now we need something more original.
Well, and that's the shame too, is that a lot of the time horror YouTube, horror movies, horror video games never do as well as other genres, just because there are a lot of people who just aren't into horror, and you know, we see that in the view counts for these videos. They're not that high, but they're really great.
Yeah, like, they're very, like, again, like the crowds that like horror kind of invoke are very like dedicated, but they're very they're not as big as like sci-fi or fantasy or like action stuff or comedy.
It's not for everybody.
Yeah. It definitely takes a certain mind, like a I guess even a morbid kind of mind to get the thrill. But like, I mean, it's all fun. Like it is
so fun.
All right, I think we're basically done. So yeah, check out the Little Fears on YouTube. Basically, I binge watched a couple of other videos while I was waiting. So yeah, I checked out the one that had the one that has the one like really kind of cheap jump scare, and it's not really even a jump scare. It's just like, I mean, it's a jump scare, but it's more or less the sound that does it. Yeah,
and it's the same thing about Round Hay Garden Scene. Is that that's just a video about the earliest known piece of video footage taken. That's just 2 seconds long, and she just plays it. She just plays it with some real loud music behind it.
Nice. Actually, can we talk about the burial at Box Hill? Have we all read that one or like watched that one?
I have not.
I didn't know we were gonna do that one. You're talking about it. You're talking about it as we were starting to review the videos.
Yeah. Sorry. Okay, just that one. Yeah, people out there, check that one out, because that one, again, is more proof of like how it starts off kind of innocuous, and then the zinger at the end is what kind of gave me chills.
Yeah, I think the second we get off this call, I'm going to run over to my computer and watch the rest of the videos I haven't seen yet.
Yeah,
so
nice. Very good.
All right. So yeah, I guess that was this week's episode. So yeah, you guys can plug if you guys want.
Yeah.
On anything that you guys are doing.
I do a bunch of podcasts. I do the.
Sorry.
I do a bunch of podcasts. Google them. No. I do a podcast called The Drunk and the Ugly. It's a role playing actual play podcast edited by myself and Charlotte. We have like 600 something episodes.
There's a lot of them.
There's a lot of content.
Countless actual plays and horror and other genre. Yeah,
so there's a lot of stuff there. And then I do a show with Travis called Ugly Talk, which is like a transmedia discussion. Travis has a master's in like interactive literature, and I'm a guy. And we just talk about we talk.
Things?
Yeah, we know things. Listen to us.
You're the one that gets it out there. Like, you're the one that gets the word out.
Yeah,
as well.
I get the word out there. And those are also, if you don't want to subscribe on iTunes or Google Play, they're on Stitcher now.
Woohoo!
Woo. So check it on that if you don't want to subscribe to anything.
Yeah, and then my friends and I are planning on putting a podcast out within the next couple of months. Tabletop Potluck. It's going to be a podcast where we play tabletop RPGs and then talk about them and then eat food.
And then talk about that.
And then talk about the food.
And talk about the food.
And then talk about the podcast.
Yep. Just recursive podcast topics. So hopefully that is going to be out sometime in either October or November. So keep an eye out for it because I'm really excited for it. I think it's going to be really good.
Yeah, nice. Depending on when this gets posted, it might already be out. And also talking about things that might be done by the time this gets posted. We're publishing a game. It's called Goblin.
Woo, yeah.
It's written by a listener of the show, Greg Predmore, and
we've had on our show.
Yeah, Greg.
And we're gonna we're doing a Kickstarter for it. We've got rules together. We have a book mostly done. We're gonna do this a lot better than we did our last book. A lot better. We learned a lot of lessons.
You learned from your mistakes.
We learned a lot of lessons. And yeah, so that's a big thing. So that might still be happening. I might have backer kit or something. So if the Kickstarter's done, you might be able to pre-order it or whatever. Or ask for So that'll be going on probably sometime soon. Hopefully.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah, the Kickstarter will be, we're shooting for like early to mid-October, so
awesome.
It'll be happening soon. TM.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably try and get some help you guys out with some advertising.
Nice, yeah.
Because
there's
I played the game. And I've read the game
so the review cultist has actually made has actually done some of the art for it.
Nice.
Probably about half of the existing artwork. And also the title graphic, and I think you're working on a character sheet. I think.
Yeah, I'm trying to like visualize how to do it because actually I got some feedback from because I did a play test actually yesterday. Yeah, today. Yeah, yesterday.
Oh, very nice.
And that was one of the things that came up because of the just how health is done in Goblin. We were trying to I was trying to get ideas from my players like how you'd want it displayed on a character sheet. So we got that worked through. So. Also, have you guys come up with a cheat sheet yet? Because
we did.
Really
we've gotten that's feedback we've gotten from other people. We have a cheat sheet. I need to make it into a PDF or something. But yes, we have a cheat sheet. We're going to send that out with the actual Kickstarter.
Yeah, because I know at least two of my players, all my regular players, want me to run this as a off and on campaign of Beer and Pretzels game.
Sure.
So whenever we don't know what we want to run or what campaign we
want
to run,
off-season game.
This is going to be Goblin's going to be the game that we run. So
hopefully that gets bigger and better.
Yep. All right, and as usual, you can check out Al Dente at Tumblr, Facebook, YouTube. I'm at Twitter at Review Cultist. You guys are on Twitter?
Yeah, I'm Catman2, or not Catman, I'm SpaceCat2455 on Twitter. That's also my Twitch, where I stream regularly, normally weekly. I stream Crypt of the Necrodancer and Dark Souls mostly, and some retro games that I dabble in speedrunning. So
like Bucky O'Hare.
Yeah, like Bucky O'Hare. I did the 12-hour challenge. Yeah. That was a thing.
Yeah.
I am on Twitter as well as what's my Twitter handle?
Isn't it
Char_O_latte, I believe.
Yeah, that sounds like it.
I don't really post on Twitter a lot, but follow me if you want to. That's cool.
You gotta, I think it's a locked account, right?
It is. It's a private account, but I will probably approve your follow request, so.
All right.
Just be cool.
Just be cool. On Twitter as well.
The Drunk and the Ugly is the Drunk and Ugly. We also we don't have the Drunk and the Ugly doesn't have an official Tumblr, but Ugly Talk does at theyknowthings.tumblr.com, and I guess I forgot to mention Ugly Talk is theyknowthings.com. But you can also find those on Stitcher. Yay. They're on Stitcher now.
Yay!
I'm finally doing this thing that I probably should have done 6 years ago.
Always learning. It's just a process.
It is.
Yep, and then you can also send emails to aldenterigamortis@gmail.com. That's ALDENTERIGAMORTIS@gmail.com. Where you can send us suggestions for other creepypastas you'd like us to discuss on the show.
You know, I for a long time that sounded like the hardest email address to remember, but there's a Simpsons podcast I've been listening to where I think so many Simpsons references were taken that their email address is the Hammock District on 3rd @gmail.com.
Oh my god.
And they have to explain oh no, it's not 3RD, it's THIRD.
Yeah, it's kind of the curse of having a podcast title that's super goddamn long.
Well, that's not even their podcast title. That's just the one they could find.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, but yeah, it's just I love our title, but that's our Gmail account. So that's our Gmail email address. So yeah.
Yeah.
I can't just do ADR at gmail.com because that ADR is a totally different thing. It's like an audio thing, I believe.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, anyway, this has been this week's episode. Also, for Al Dente, we're on Patreon, so you can check us out at Al Dente Rigamortis on Patreon. For our patrons that are already backing us, thank you. You're keeping the lights on, keeping the hosting services at bay. And if you want to become a patron, you can check out the different tiers we have, $2 and $5 presently. And you get special episodes, bonus episodes, behind-the-scenes content, early access, and actual play episodes even with the special episodes. So, yeah.
Yeah, be the first of your friends to give the cultist money.
Woohoo!
Yeah, please. Yeah, so until next time, I have been your host, Review Cultist.
I'm Matt.
I'm Charlotte.
And this has been Al Dente Rigamortis. Sleep well.